My name is Holly Hansen, and I became a member of the church in January of 2010.
I've been with the church since I was born because my parents were with the church earlier, so I'm 15.
My name's Ed Foster, and I've been with this church community in Rockford, Illinois as long as I can remember. My parents moved here in 1946.
I joined this church in 1985.
Oh gosh, I have to do math.
I remember that when we were 8 years old or 9 years old or something like that, that the minister asked us to memorize 5 passages from the Bible, and then we got a Bible that was our very own with our name printed on it.
I remember, the thing I remember most maybe is David Connolly gave a class, presented a class, I think it was in 5th grade, and it was on Socrates and Plato, and he was real impressive. He was a very great orator.
Last year when I was in 8th grade, we went to all the different churches and different religious groups in Rockford, and that kind of opened my eyes to what other people do as religion.
It was when we moved here in the mid-60s that I began to attend here and was very involved with the youth program at the time and went to conferences, and it was really a lifesaver for me. That there was some turmoil in my life during those years, as is common with adolescents, and the LRY group was just really a lifesaver.
Sveti and I are Zoroastrians by religion, my partner and I, and the closest spiritual community to us is in about 1 hour and 3/4 away in Chicago. And we thought, well, it'd be a good idea as a family to have some place closer to home that we can call kind of a church community and get connected with, and so I think we decided to check it out for that reason.
I came from a Jewish background, and Warren came from a traditional Protestant background. And it wasn't till our oldest daughter, Meredith, said to us one day, I don't want to be half something, that it dawned on us that we needed a place where our children could feel spiritually whole.
I've never really been part of an organized church before, and we realized that our son, who was at that time 7, was struggling a little bit with what to think of what friends told him about religion, and I didn't really talk about it much, but we both had the same feeling, like let's find a place. And I happened to flip channels on Sunday morning and watched Fusion with Dave Weisbart, and came upstairs and said, I just heard something that made sense.
And it happened to be New Member Sunday, so the minister was speaking about the different principles. Frankly, that's what they were discussing that day, and I thought, wow, this is me. This is exactly who I am.
We felt in our little hometown and in our home church that we couldn't speak our political feelings, and we found people here of like mind, and it was such a relief to be able to be free about our thoughts and know that we'd find others who agreed with us.
When I joined the church, I actually got on board really quickly on a lot of the committees, and had a great time learning what people are like and how to work best with different people in the community just by getting involved.
I was roped into becoming the treasurer 6 months into my membership, and I found out that I was an accountant and said, oh, we need somebody to treasurer, and the desperation was very vivid.
I chaired the Public Relations Committee for a while, back when I used to work for public radio, and that was a good fit.
I loved teaching the preschool to 1st grade kind of age group, and actually I think since I was a young girl, I wanted to be a preschool teacher, but somewhere along the way I ended up becoming a psychologist.
I've spent many years in the basement in the church school, teaching, just regular, RE each week, and then more recently I've been involved in the OWL classes.
It led to me offering the Cakes for the Queen of Heaven course here at the church, I think 2003.
I heard the choir one week and knew that I definitely wanted to sing in that choir if at all possible.
More in the last few years, which has been very important, and I'm very proud that the church achieved accreditation as a green sanctuary. And really what that means is we went through a lot of projects to prove to the UUA National that we are a church committed to green principles and that we care about the environment.
One of the programs that we have is Great Decisions, and that's a book and a video to introduce us to the background of something that we read about or we hear about on the news. And I think it's amazing that it's a church that's providing us that kind of an education, and I really enjoy participating in that and the discussions that we have about the topics.
I have to say our music program is top-notch, and I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about Tim and the unicantors and the guest musicians that Tim brings in. You know, we are so fortunate, and I know our congregation knows that and appreciates that, but I want to make sure it doesn't go without saying.
Just personally, I feel really welcome here, you know, in terms of just being, the church being an inclusive and welcoming community. And I think it was around that time in the 90s too that the church was working on becoming a welcoming congregation, to be more welcoming for people of all sexual orientations, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered. And so I think that stood out to me, because in a lot of work that I do as a psychologist, that's also something that I was focused on, along with racial justice and equity.
I also have, for the last couple of years, involved myself in the stewardship campaign. And I've got to say, for years when I would get those calls, can we come over and talk about stewardship? I was the one who always said no and clicked the phone down, because I didn't want anybody to talk to me about money. I didn't understand how important my gift was, no matter what its size. That this church doesn't just run on good feelings, because without the financial support, without us putting our money where our mouths are, we can't embody the values and principles that we all hold dear.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe each and every person.
Every person. Every person
is important.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe. We believe that all people.
That all people
should be treated fairly.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe churches are places
where all people.
All people are accepted.
And where we keep on learning.
Keep on learning
together. We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe each person must be free.
Must be free.
Must be free
to search for what is true.
True and right.
In life.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe that all people.
All people.
All people should have a voice and a vote.
People should have a voice and a vote
about the things that concern them.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe we should work
for a peaceful,
free, and fair world.
We believe. We believe.
We believe.
We believe we should care. We should care.
We should care
for our planet Earth.
That was our very own with our name printed on it.
I remember, the thing I remember most maybe is David Connolly gave a class, presented a class, I think it was in 5th grade, and it was on Socrates and Plato, and he was real impressive. He was a very great orator.
Last year we went.
Oh gosh, I have to do math.
I remember that when we were 8 years old or 9 years old or something like that, that the minister asked us to memorize 5 passages from the Bible, and then we got a Bible.
My name is Holly Hansen, and I became a member of the church in January of 2010.
I've been with the church since I was born because my parents were with the church earlier, so I'm 15.
My name's Ed Foster, and I've been with this church community in Rockford, Illinois as long as I can remember. My parents moved here in 1946.
I joined this church in 1985.